somehow the seat of Shankaracharya remained vacant. There was no occupant of that great throne of Shankaracharya. All the conscientious leaders of public life and good saints were concerned with this seat of Shankaracharya remaining vacant. They held national conferences to select some Shankaracharya. And on the higher circle of the saints, Gurudev was known, so they decided to approach him wherever he was. The story goes that it took him 20 years of persuasion to accept the seat of Shankaracharya. Because the life was so drawn out of the field of activity, complete an ideal, most ideal life of a recluse, of a sannyasi. Eventually, after 20 years of persuasion, at the age of 71 years, in 1941, he was installed as a Shankaracharya. Now, Shankaracharya means a great institution in himself. Hundreds of people surround him and all this, a great commotion. His life had been of complete silence. Whatever it was, that was the time when he came to, when Shankaracharya used to come, they'd take him out on great processions with big paraphernalia. In one of the processions I happened to see him. And when I saw him first time, I said, now fine, this is it. That was the flash to me. And then I surrendered myself. It took me about 2 years for a proper surrender which could be said to be surrender. And then thereafter the life was a real blissful life. As a Shankaracharya, he was found to have the great intellect of the first Shankaracharya and the heart of Buddha, the lovable, soft heart of Buddha and the great intellect of Shankara. And that was his personality. He wouldn't go much in details of the philosophical discussions, but what he spoke was simple truths of life. But very simple, so piercing, they went straight home to heart. People have been telling us that those were the meetings in open air, all the time in open air, except in the rains. Open air meeting, we used to have 16, 20, 12, 8, big 12 mics to cover the range of about 50,000 people, 100,000 people like that, just for his evening discourses. And he would hardly speak 30 minutes, 40. 40 minutes was the maximum that he went sometimes. But every word that he spoke was so powerful, was so piercing, was so convincing. But people would see him and would be transformed to all good life. Whatever remained there, buried in the subconscious, will come out when they hear his words. The very great atheists have just been transformed not by the logic or not by the deep exposition of anything great which they did not know before, but the truth exposed in so simple words and in such great force of life force that they couldn't but only be transformed. The motor will pass from there and you would be speaking. And if the car is not very fast, if the driver happens to hear some word, immediately he'll put up the brake and stop and listen. Can't pass on. He has to stop on this. Such charm was there in his words, and such great simplicity and depth of thought, and he charmed the child and the old all alike. It was a pin drop silence of 50,000, 100,000 people, just pin drop. Before him used to speak some big learned pandits, famous big learned pandits of northern India. They go with Shankaracharya all the time. That is customary. Some famous astrologers in his retinue, some big famous professors of Vedanta, of yoga, all these, they go along with him. So these big, huge intellectual giants used to speak before him. Some would speak 1 hour, some would speak half an hour, like that. And there was a marked difference in what they spoke and what he spoke. And for initiations, it was a unprecedented gathering to take initiations from him. Just it was tremendous. Those who have seen those days have been so fortunate, and those who have seen me moving about in that atmosphere, they know how the grace of Gurudev has dawned, and how when they hear the stories in these parts, how it is happening, then they say, oh, it's no surprise he has received the grace of Gurudev. All but his grace and nothing else. Except his grace, I don't have anything. And God willing, the whole world is going to enjoy. So we are fortunate, and all of you are very fortunate to have his grace so far from India, and but the fortune is there. Only we have to share our fortune with all our fellow men, and we have to do our utmost what we can to bring this meditation to all the people in all the ways possible for every one of us. This, if I could have some real good cooperation of all the people who come in my contact, it would be something. The whole world will become so full with all sublime essence of human life. Humanity will be changed into divinity, just a direct. We have seen his life, so we know what divine could be in man's life. Just fullness of divinity. That is all the strength that I have, and that you should feel in yourself. Such great power, such great wisdom, such great bliss. That is something about Gurudev.